this guy who invests his family office money in cattle ranches.
And it's his own
His own money.
Yeah.
Yeah, his own family office.
All right. We've got some good stuff going on here. And Mark, your question is, with the election over, I'm a bit nervous about investing in real estate related assets. How do the results affect your business model? Well, they kind of do and they kind of don't. Okay. Is we ready?
Can you hear
I've
me?
got a hum in my ear.
Fine.
Hum, hum, hum. Why would I have a hum?
I don't know, Bruce didn't mention
Is
anything.
it in your head?
It's in one
not.
channel.
It's a one channel.
Okay, now it's off.
Okay, let's turn that up a little bit.
Okay, yeah. Now I have both channels are working and there's no hum.
There you go.
No hum daddy.
Okay, who wants to start?
I'll, let's just, because it's the first one short, I'll just talk about the Florida trip you and I went on, the family
Okay.
office, and just talk a little bit about that. We can just banter back and forth on that if you have anything to jump in. Alexandra, always feel free to jump in and the feedback we get is when the more banter we do,
Exactly.
the better it is. Yeah, because especially since we're following a very boring vitamin show.
Which
No.
they may be changing.
Right. That's the other thing. That's the other reason
No.
we called is because the bumper. The lead-in show and I forget who's after us, but the lead-in show is Purity vitamin products, and
No.
so we're not going to get a lot of carryover listenership.
Into our show.
Yeah.
No.
So that was actually one of the primary reasons we called to complain.
Yeah.
Put those guys somewhere else.
Exactly. All right, here we go. Welcome. You're listening to The Best of Investing. I'm your host, Edward Brown. I'm proud to have as my co-host Mark Hunt of Pacific Private Money, one of California's fastest growing mortgage investment firms, and Alexandra Koch of Wealth Plus. Now, for those of you new to our show, imagine a few guys and gals sitting around a bar having drinks without the drinks, talking business with you, the audience listening in. Our phone number is 888-912-1190. Use that number to answer the trivia questions for 3 tanning certificates given away during this show. And the certificates are not sponsored by the radio station, but by Tan Bella Tanning Salon with 2 locations in San Francisco and 1 in Marin. Today's trivia theme is cats. Do you know
I'll do
Cats?
Cats the
terrible.
musical?
I'll do terrible on that.
What's that?
Cats the musical?
No.
Cat's the animal.
Cat's the animal.
Okay.
The cats. There you go. Okay, Mark, tell the audience what we did this last weekend.
So, Edward, you and I just got back from Miami, Florida, where we attended the Family Office Club sponsored Family Office event. And for those of you who raise money for your business or your investment vehicle, if you are unfamiliar with the whole world of family offices, what that is, and this is a relatively new term. In fact, a lot of people who are the ultra wealthy, those with $100 million net worths on average and above, many of those people create what is called a family office, where they really turn their family wealth into a business that's typically run by a manager who manages their wealth and invests in everything from hard assets, as we found out, to, in fact, one of the guys we talked with who has his own family office managing money that he earned during a 60-year career. He's now investing in cattle ranches throughout the United States. But most of the people we met at the Family Office Club event were there actually looking to meet family office representatives with their investment opportunities. And what was very interesting, since Edward and I are real estate guys, is it seemed like half of the people there looking to get introductions to people managing these high net worth individuals were there were in the business of multifamily investing. So multifamily investments around the country right now is just on fire. Now, of course, if you invest in multifamily and you live in California, you're probably investing outside California, because multifamily in California, the cap rates are so ridiculously expensive right now. But I want to give a little plug for this event, because we met the organizer, Richard Wilson, great guy, and there were probably about representatives, about 500 people and representatives from about 100 family office single-family office and multifamily office, because some of these people there were representing multiple families with net worths of $100 million or more, and looking for, looking to be introduced to basically to deal flow, to broaden their pipeline of investment opportunities that come to them. And again, what's interesting about family offices is they all tend to have their own kind of appetite for what they like to invest in. Some prefer hard assets like real estate. Some prefer to buy businesses. Some invest, they love to invest in stocks. And so we talked to a number of people who had multiple equity strategies. And then others, we were looking for people who were interested in parking some of their wealth in our relatively short-term commitment money. I'm sorry, I was going to say money market fund, but it's not. Our the Pacific Private Money Fund, basically our mutual fund of mortgage secured instruments. We're reducing our initial commitment from starting in 2017 from 2 years to 1 year. So we were really promoting the 1 year commitment, because a lot of the people that are raising money were looking for longer term capital, and so
it's a multi-trillion-dollar venue.
Apparently, right? They were saying that they believe that family office net worth is somewhere in the $2 to $3 trillion range. So again, if you're interested in information about how you can learn more about family offices, there are events like the one we attended in Miami all over the United States, and there's one supposed to come in San Francisco from the same organizing group next year in 2017. For more information, go visit their website at familyofficeclub.com, familyofficeclub.com. And in fact, we're probably going to have Richard Wilson on as a guest in early 2017 to talk about the whole industry of, what is a family office, and how do you meet the people who are managing this high net worth. And of course, here in California, we actually have a lot of ultra high net worth families of $100 million or more, and many of them are very young tech, newly minted tech multimillionaires, first generational family office wealth clients. And so these guys really, they're good at creating that kind of wealth, but what they're not so good at necessarily is investing the cash side of that business. So
don't forget to let them know that you heard about the best of investing.
Absolutely.
Always got to give a little plug for us too. All right, so we're going to actually, believe it or not, have to cut to a commercial break. Our first segment's always a little bit short, and then when we come back, Alexandra's got some information about not only long-term care but Medicare. So all you people out there who are approaching 60 and over, you got to pay attention to this one. So before we go to our first commercial break, and again, our theme is cats, we wanted to make a shout out here for the new Cityscape Viewing Lounge at the Hilton San Francisco Union Square for 360-degree views that are, quote, out of this world. So if you go there, you look on one side, you see the Golden Gate Bridge, and on the other side, you see AT&T Park. And the food is actually very, very good. I got to say, they invited me up there, and of course I had to
try it out.
Try it out, exactly. So that's at the San Francisco Hilton Union Square. Okay, so here is our first trivia question that has to do with cats. What is the largest member of the cat family?
Ooh.
It's not my cat, even though he weighs a lot. Okay. Now we're going to do this. The first,
no local cats.
No local cats. Yeah, it's basically what with the family is what we're looking for. The first caller with the correct answer is going to win the free Tan Bella certificate, which is actually good for 3 tanning services. One of them includes a wrinkle, get rid of your wrinkles tan, that type of tanning salon. Yeah, apparently it's scientific. It works. So you got to check them out at tanbella.com. So for the answer to this question of what is the largest member of the cat family, you need to call 888-912-1190 to answer that question, and make sure to include your name and your email address, and speak slowly and spell out your email one letter at a time, and don't touch that dial. The best of investing. I'll be right back. Okay.
This thing crackled in my ear so loudly I could hardly.
Crackle?
Yeah, it's crackling right now.
Oh.
It's just crackling continuously.
Weird.
Is it? I don't want to mess around with it too much. Is it altering if I do this at all? want to switch the headphones to the white ones?
That's terrible. Goodness.
Oh, I was gonna say, you wanna use other headphones then?
Yeah, I
Wanna
think
try?
so.
Which, should I go over?
These are just,
Yeah.
this is just
And then I'll just change
Oh, wait.
the.
let's see.
See if that's any better.
Hello. No, it's that track. I
Oh,
know
the
there's
one that you're
something-
plugged
yeah,
into?
the one I'm plugged into isn't.
Huh.
So that plug is putting out bad juju. All right, yeah, this is not working. Number
That's
2.
it.
Is there? Can I be in another?
Only if you want to do number 4,
And then we
you
need
have
to
talk
change the
into it,
mic.
though.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh.
Again, the mic's fine. It's just this.
Well, so then you should take this
And
one,
then
I guess.
can't really hear myself out of this thing.
Well, you should take this one and I'll just move over to this one.
But yeah, well, that mic's kind of funky. So let's just, you know what? I'll just, my workaround is I just keep this off my ear and then I
Well,
don't
you're
have to listen
pretty
to
good
it.
about knowing to speak like this. It's really only to make sure people don't do that.
Yeah,
That's
right.
really what's for. Okay.
I wonder why it would do that.
So how long is this segment?
This one is going to be 9 minutes and 10 seconds.
Okay.
So it's a couple minutes longer.
Okay.
All right. And let's hit it. Go. Well, welcome back to the Best of Investing. I'm Edward Brown, your host, along with Mark Hunt and Alexandra Kahn. The first trivia question we asked was, what is the largest member of the cat family?
Panther,
Cheetah?
No, that's the fastest.
ocelot.
I think that is the smallest, if I'm not mistaken. The tiger.
The tiger,
Tiger.
okay, yeah, that makes sense.
Okay. Alexandra, we teased the audience with the fact that you were going to come on and talk about not only Medicare but long-term care. What do you want to start with?
Let's start with long-term care.
Okay.
Long-term care insurance, but because for many people, they have relatives who have needed long-term care, and so as they start to get older themselves, they start to think about, well, what if I need long-term care? How am I going to pay for it?
Yep.
And so there have been available long-term care insurance policies for quite a long time.
Yeah, how long has it been around?
Well,
20 years?
yeah, I was going to say at least 20 years, I think. But what most people don't know is, in my opinion, it's been in a crisis state now for a number of years, and that's exhibited by premium increases, in some cases of 50%. So if you buy long-term care insurance, your premiums are not guaranteed.
I was just going to ask you.
So it's
about
not
that.
like 20-year term where they don't change?
No, they are not guaranteed at all.
Oh.
They cannot, the regulations say that they cannot come along and say, okay, Mark, we're going to raise your premiums,
It has
but
to
they
be
can't,
across the board,
right, it has to be across the board. So, but the problem is that their costs keep going up,
Yeah.
and the premiums that people are paying are not enough, and so now they have started increasing them dramatically.
So someone who, they kind of almost like the typical type of insurance thing, if you're fairly healthy, you get a little frustrated with the people who are not healthy, who are driving your
The
costs
cost,
up, right?
right. So, and of course, when premiums go up, 50%, a lot of people say, well, I can't afford that anymore, and then they drop the policies, and now you've got even a smaller pool of people who are insured,
Yeah.
who are bearing the cost of it.
And if the people can't afford it, that's almost the reason why they need it, because if something happens to them, that's what they need.
Right. So, a couple of the industry articles that I brought in, one of them is that John Hancock, which is one of the largest, is stopping selling long-term care insurance.
That happened in the disability insurance with dentists for quite a while, because they were just getting too many claims, like for back and stuff like that. By the way, it's all Bush's fault, right?
Yeah.
I just want to make sure we always plug, it's Bush's fault. Go ahead.
Right. So that is happening, and then another one of the headlines is that Genworth, which is the largest in the United States, is being sold to China Oceanwide Holdings Group.
Huh.
So, I don't know how consumers would feel about that, but, now we're going to have a foreign company that is making decisions about what's going to be covered, what isn't going to be covered, and so on.
Is the whole all their divisions are being sold, or just the long-term
The
care?
long-term care for sure. And I don't know whether
because I know that they
the
also do
divisions.
term insurance too, and I was
Right.
wondering if that part was going to be. Yeah, I'm not sure about that.
Yeah, I'm not sure about that.
What are the
Fair enough.
typical coverages of long-term care insurance, and why is it important for people to strongly consider having that?
Yeah.
Well, I don't think they should consider having it. In fact, I
Oh,
think it's
you-
no. I recommend against it because,
What's the
I
alternative then?
the best alternative is to buy whole life insurance and build cash value so that when you get to the age where you might need long-term care, you have enough cash value that you can take out and use it to pay for long-term care. That's really the best. That's really the best strategy because with those policies you have guarantees. So again, in long-term care policies, you don't have guarantees.
And if you're, let's say, 30 years old, you wouldn't qualify for long-term care anyway, right? Because you have to be at least 55 or something.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thankfully,
So
they don't start selling it that early. Thankfully, they don't
Yeah.
start selling it that early.
Yeah, because I'm thinking that, that, like in some cases, people say, like as an example, I don't need life insurance at all. I'm just going to save my money. Well, yeah,
Right.
but what happens if you die in the first 1 or 2 years?
Right.
You're not covered. So if you get someone who's young enough and they do a whole life policy, they wouldn't have been able to qualify for long-term care anyway.
Right.
But how much money do you have to pop into one of those?
Well, it depends. I mean, it depends on how old you are when you start, primarily.
The face amount.
Right. But I mean, of course, there are tables that are available to show you how much long-term care costs now like in California for either home health care versus institutional care. And so you can at least get an idea from that, and then you could project that out and say, well, okay, what if I need it in 20 years?
I just thought I'd
how
get
much is it gonna
adopted
be?
by Rockefeller and then say, hey, take care of me now.
That's who you were talking to at that family
Yeah, that's
family
right,
meeting, right?
Well,
yeah.
no, there was a DuPont there that we met.
Yeah.
Not a Rockefeller. He was thinking of changing his name to Rockefeller
Yeah.
because people were confusing him with the real DuPont family.
Yeah.
Well, it's a little bit of a sidetrack, but I'm familiar with some of those family investment companies because some of them are in impact investments, which is
Yes, we
one
did
of the
meet a
world's-
few. We
one
talked
of the
to a few
worlds
of
I'm
those.
in.
Yes.
So who are interested in doing good with their money.
Yeah.
So it's very encouraging.
While we're still on this topic, Alexandra, I just wanted to mention. So you're a financial advisor, wealth planner, and I just find it really interesting and important that you cross over just you not only work with your clients on investments, but you're crossing into areas like we're just talking about long-term healthcare insurance. Yes or no, and other alternatives, other alternative insurance products. Are there other types of insurance that you recommend that your clients do or not invest in?
Well, I use a holistic model called the Protection, Savings, and Growth Model. And so we look at all kinds of insurance for each client. So, starting out with car insurance, homeowners insurance, umbrella, and all kinds of liability insurance, as well as disability and life, and all of those products.
Well, my attitude about car insurance has been, and even if I buy a brand new car, I don't buy collision insurance. I buy liability because I want to make sure if I do something stupid, I'm going to, not get sued, so to speak. And then even on comprehensive, I'm a little bit, it depends on how much it costs. But the way I look at it is if I'm dumb enough to ruin my car, I'm going to live with a dented car.
Yeah.
Well, when it comes to insurance, it's one of those things that some people say it's that expense that you love to hate, or it's a necessary evil. There's a number of ways to describe it, but I know a lot of real estate investors who have decided to stop forming new LLCs every time they go out and buy different properties, and just decided, what, I'm just going to load up on insurance, and if I have a problem, then the insurance company will hire attorneys to take care of it and pay out the claims, rather than this so-called or this believed liability protection that having an LLC in and of itself supposedly affords you. Because a lot of times, people form these LLCs, but then they don't do any of the compliance work around maintaining that. So,
exactly.
Plus, it has to be multiple member LLC
right,
to get liability protection. If it's a single member in California, you don't have liability protection.
Yeah, so I think that's
Okay,
something
good
that a lot
point.
of people don't understand, and so
Yeah.
you should really, talk to your attorney about that and get more information about it. If you think you're getting liability protection because you're just you're throwing up an LLC, and they're expensive, and maybe
Yeah.
those might be better served with an insurance premium like an umbrella, which could also become useful in a lot of other situations, not just
That's a good point.
in real estate.
Yeah,
That's a great
and
point.
you can get personal umbrella and you can get business umbrella.
Yeah, I
So-
have both.
Yeah.
So the
I
single,
love buying insurance. I sleep well at night.
Yeah, well, exactly. For certain things.
And my
it's-
insurance
that's
broker
right.
loves me.
Yeah,
That's why it's there.
He's an
That's why
investor in
it's
my
there.
company.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right.
In fact, the single member LLCs, they're called disregarded entities, and
Yeah.
I was wondering if you could protect yourself liability wise. Actually, the tax more like a partnership, but theoretically they're still a corporation. But you're telling me that
Right.
if you're a single member one,
In California.
you basically pierce the corporate veil, so to speak. Okay,
Yeah.
tell you what, we're going to cut to another commercial break here, and here's the next trivia question on cats. In the Navy, what was the name given to a whip often used? Has something to do with cats. All right. In the Navy, what was the name given to a whip often used? All right. Call 888-912-1190. Don't touch that dial. The best in investing. We'll be right back. All right. I didn't know that about the in California single member LLCs. Basically, it's like you're running out there naked.
Well, you no longer file a return for a single member LLC.
You can't.
You do a Schedule C. It goes on Schedule C.
Schedule E. Yeah.
Or C. C.
C?
Mhm.
Really? Okay. Sorry.
Yeah, E probably when it's real estate, but you can
Yeah,
have a
but-
single member LLC that does other business, and that would go on Schedule C.
Interesting.
Yeah, my CPA just calls it, no, that's a flow-through entity. We don't
Yeah.
file a return on that. And just,
Exactly.
I
Yeah,
can't read my
you
tax
just get
return
K, yeah,
anyway.
you just
It's
get
got to
K1.
stuff.
And, oh, yeah. I mean, I don't know how the IRS can even figure out some of these because they get so complicated.
They don't.
Yeah, exactly. Just throw a dart and they
And
go,
let's
we're going to
hope you
audit
don't
this
need
guy."
help, because if you try to get in touch with them, you won't be able to
Yeah.
get any help. So
And then you got some other good, the Medicare.
yeah,
Yeah.
Medicare. I was just going to talk about how much premiums are going up, and
How we won't be able to get it probably, right?
and how now they're talking about changing that. So I know we're not supposed to talk politics, but
Oh, no, we can, absolutely.
I think people
yeah,
need to
in
stay
fact, we
with
will. I think we should, because you weren't on.
Oh,
Were
that's
you
right.
on? You
No.
haven't been on since Trump got elected, right?
No, I
No,
haven't.
she had to
So-
miss the last.
Yeah, so we'll I mean, because that impacts. I mean, basically,
The
I
problem is we don't know how it's going to impact us.
No,
an
no,
economist
yeah.
that I follow has completely thrown out the window all of his 2017 predictions
Uh-huh.
and is now bearish. And he's normally a very bullish
Which one is that?
predictor, Chris Thornburg.
Okay. Yeah.
And
Wow.
very even keeled. Hey, don't buy all these doom and gloom you read in the paper. And now he's Mr. Doom and Gloom because he just thinks Trump's ideas are so bass backwards.
Yeah.
But then of course now Trump's like totally flip flopping on everything. So
Yeah.
who knows what he's going to do?
Well, and as far as I'm concerned, he's not really going to do anything. He's just going to turn it over to all these people that he's putting in the cabinet, etc. Because he doesn't want to work. He doesn't want to learn. He just wants to have the. He just wants to be on TV. So.
Well, that's a good reason to be president, right?
Yeah, I guess.
Okay, so when we come back, do you want to go right into the Medicare?
Yeah, let's keep going.
All right, I'm going to make a little mention. Okay, ready to get your time clock there? We've got 8
Oh.
minutes and 40 seconds.
Okay.
Well, welcome back to the Best of Investing. Edward Brown here, along with Mark Hom and Alexandra Cox. Second trivia question. In the Navy, what was the name given to a whip often used? Has something to do with cats.
Was it the cat o' nine tails?
Yes, that's exactly what it's called. Cat of
The
nine
Navy
tails.
part threw me off.
I know. Well, that's how the question was asked, so I had to kind of.
Where it started, maybe.
Okay. So, quick mention here for the Hornblower, which we've been on before. Beautiful cruise. So come aboard the Hornblower for a one-of-a-kind experience. Spectacular views, obviously. You get the Golden Gate Bridge and the Bay Bridge. Live entertainment, gourmet dinners, which, by the way, the food is actually spectacular. I really enjoy going on it. And you will too.
And they go under the Golden
They
Gate
go,
Bridge,
yes,
which is pretty cool.
yeah, that is
actually,
really
when they
cool. I
do
mean, how
that.
many times do you get to go under the Golden
I
Gate
know,
Bridge?
it's very cool.
So gather your family and just relax and check them out at hoardlower.com. Alexandra, you also have another article or some information on Medicare for us.
Yes, I wanted to talk a little bit about the increase in Medicare premiums, excuse me, which will be happening for 2017. So for Medicare premiums in 2016, the lowest premium amount is $122 a month, and for 2017, that is going up to $149 a month.
That's a pretty big
That's
jump.
only
Yeah.
20%.
Yeah.
Wow.
And so, as we talked about on a previous show, if you are on Social Security, whatever increase you get, you're going to lose basically because that's going to go to Medicare Part A, and then these increases are Medicare Part B. And if you have some income, you're going to be paying more than that $149. That's the lowest premium. So that's
Gotcha.
people that are the lowest income pay that premium, and then there's a couple of other graduations from there.
Just tell people don't get sick. Don't go
Well,
see the doctor, and then the premiums go down.
Well, yeah, but so then you don't want to have coverage no matter what. Part B is to go to the doctor. That's not the hospital coverage. That's to go to the doctor, and that's for lab work and things like that. So you probably don't want to skip it.
So Alexandra, we haven't seen you since the election, and I know you advise a lot of clients, and in terms of investments and other wealth building and protection strategies. What's your outlook for 2017, and what are your hopes and fears, I guess, based on a now Republican administration versus what most people thought was going to be a continuation of a Democratic presidential situation?
Well, of course, people have been asking me, well, what opportunities are there? And the truth is, it's very hard to know what the opportunities are going to be because, what President-elect Trump proposes changes from day to day. And then we have the whole unknown of Congress. What is Congress going to agree to? What is Congress going to go along with? So, I think there are very few things we can count on. I think one thing we can count on is that corporate tax rates are going to go down because I'm pretty sure that they're going to be able to muster what they need in order to do that. And they are talking about personal tax reform, although really for the middle class, what they're talking about is giving them some changes, but then taking away other ones. So actually some middle class people are probably going to have to pay more in taxes. So, the expectation is that if people have lower taxes, then there's going to be more money in the economy and more stimulus to the economy. But that is only going to work if it's true for the low income and middle income people because we know those are the only ones who spend money. The wealthy people don't spend money. They already have enough money to spend, and so any tax savings they get, they save. So, and in terms of infrastructure, that's one of the other things that's being discussed. But again, I don't know. Based on the reluctance to add to the deficit, is Congress going to go along with that and agree to spend money on infrastructure? I'll be surprised if that happens.
So when it comes to lowering corporate tax rates, do you see that as having a strong positive impact on potential stock prices and therefore the stock market and market indexes?
Potentially, although it may help small business owners more than it helps the big corporations. Mm-hmm. Because again, then the question becomes, what do the big corporations do with the money? So if they use that money, for example, for stock buybacks, which is what they've been doing for quite a number of years, then that will cause stock prices to go up. But of course, part of the problem with that is, in terms of looking at the longer term, it's really an artificially inflated price. It's not really the market saying, here's how much we want to pay for these stocks. It's there are fewer shares, and so therefore the price goes up as a result of that.
So what about this idea, though, about the repatriation opportunity to lower tax rates and incentivize companies like Apple? They're the most famous for having literally billions and billions of dollars held in overseas countries. Wouldn't that have a potentially positive impact for the economy overall and stock prices if he were successful in getting that through?
Well, I mean, when it's been done previously, and when it was done previously, it did not have a beneficial effect because again, what the companies did is they just held on to the money. So the way that it would have a positive impact is if they brought the money back and then they built new factories or they hired more employees or they use it to grow in one way or another. And historically, that hasn't happened.
Well, the market's certainly abhor uncertainty, and right now we are in some very uncertain times as to exactly what's going to happen. We've got cabinet picks that are among the wealthiest to ever have held those positions, which runs a little contrary to Trump's populist platform that he was essentially elected on. So we're starting to see a little bit of backpedaling on some of the promises he made, which, in my opinion, and I'm a conservative, is not a bad thing because some of the stuff he was proposing was flat out, in my opinion, just crazy and not sustainable. And particularly, there's a lot of talk here in California, in the Bay Area, particularly about his stance on immigration. And my bet and my hope is that when it comes to immigration, he's actually going to increase like the visa procedure for bringing in much needed immigration work for the tech industry, but the illegal immigration is the part that I think he is going to continue to look towards. But even that is necessarily not a good thing for California because a lot of the farm labor, for example, so that is from
also,
the
where's he going to get all the labor to build the wall or find all of these illegal?
Well, I mean, I always say to people, well, okay, so if you want to start kicking people out, then that means you don't want to eat because we don't have farmers anymore. You don't want anyone cleaning your house.
Well,
you don't want anyone help taking care
absolutely.
of your children, etc. And then there's the whole economic thing, which a lot of people don't talk about, and that is that population provides a lot of economic stimulus.
They buy a lot of stuff.
They buy a lot of stuff because they spend all their money.
Yeah,
they spend all their
it.
money, all their income.
Absolutely.
So that's the other problem with
Alexandra,
doing that.
before we cut to our break, how do people get a hold of you if they have questions about Medicare and long-term care?
They can call us at 415-457-8936, or they can go to our website, www.wealthplusinc.com.
Very good. When we come back, Mark, I want to hear from you. Deal of the week. We also have some interesting emails for both of you, and that's what we're going to do. Third trivia question. The song Year of the Cat was sung by what artist? That was an easy one, I think. If you remember it.
Yeah.
Okay. 888-912-1190. We'll be right back. Okay.
Oh, good. I avoided saying that in terms of those cabinet picks that so far that they're unscrupulous, immoral, and unethical.
Yeah, I don't know who
Munchin
Munchin is. Mnuchin, I've never heard of him.
He's a former Goldman Sachs guy, but he's one of the ones that during the recession was heavily involved in foreclosures and kicking people out of their houses. There were huge protests at his house.
Stupid. I mean,
because of
if he would have just worked with those people, he would actually have helped himself. I mean, the banks were so dumb in kicking people out.
Well, I'm sure he made a boatload of money. I have no idea, but I'm sure he did.
When it eventually turned around?
Yeah.
Yeah, but
by buying them low and selling them higher.
It's driving me nuts.
You know.
And we really got to take this apart and put it back together again.
And like you said, it's not the headset. It's this thing here.
It's just crackling so loud. It's so distracting.
So it could either be the box or it could be these connectors.
That's what I'm wondering. And that maybe we can switch not the input, but
is it still bad?
Yeah. And number 4.
It's static. It sounds as if someone's just sitting here going like this with the wires constantly, and no one's touching anything.
Okay, there's 1, 2, 3. Where's number 4's plug?
Well, you don't have 4, right?
So here's what I'm talking about. Just sitting here.
Yeah, because I'm thinking about the input part there.
I don't know if you recognize that at all.
Oh. Yeah, that's strange.
Might have to buy something new. Huh?
Okay, I put it up loud. Okay.
All right, yeah.
Don't get blasted out.
All right, well, good. Okay, so I got my deal of the week.
So we don't make it worse.
It's like that sweaty. What's that sound? Speaking of this.
Okay, you ready?
Good times. Good times.
Okay, here we go. Welcome back to the Best of Investing. Again, I'm Edward Brown, your host. Mark Hunt and Alexandra Koch are here joining me in the studio. Third trivia question. The song Year of the Cat was sung by what artist?
Cat Stevens.
Cat Stevens.
Yes, indeed.
Not Stevenson sing that. Al Stewart.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
Oh, you know what?
Right.
That threw
Yeah.
me. Duh.
It wasn't a trick question.
Yeah,
All right,
no,
okay.
it wasn't.
All right, so
We both fell for that one.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, no, that's what I was
you
thinking
both
too.
thought it was Cat
Yeah,
Stevens
no, I
too.
did.
All right.
Okay, with the election over, this is a question for Mark. With the election over, I'm a bit nervous about investing in real estate related assets. How do the results affect your business model?
Well, interesting, because last segment we were just talking about the election of Trump, and there's a lot of trepidation in the marketplace, and a lot of people are wondering, what's going to happen in real estate, what's going to happen in the stock market, what's going to happen in, with health insurance, and it's interesting because no matter what industry you're an expert in, you're probably hearing people come up to you and, well, what do you think the election? How's that going to impact your industry? So really, I don't think that the election of Trump really has any easily predictable impact on real estate other than in the arenas of regulation. So if you believe that, as he claims, and as his new Treasury Secretary pick is known to be anti-Dodd-Frank, which was the regulations passed after the financial crisis to essentially end predatory lending practices or discourage heavily with layers and layers of regulations those bad banks that were cramming loans down people's throats, which is crap.
Forcing them to take a loan.
Forcing them to take loans that they didn't want, and so they.
Although they did make it very, very easy. You have to acknowledge that.
That they did.
Thanks to
very,
pressure
very
from
easy.
the government to do so.
Right, to raise
right.
the percentage of
Right,
home ownership.
they wanted, during the Clinton administration, the powers that were in
That being
office at
seen
that
as a
time.
good thing.
Yeah, exactly. So again, double it. There's just there's no simple answers, and the history is certainly anything but simple that led to the 2008 financial crisis. But anyway, we're getting back to how does the Trump presidency potentially impact real estate? Well, I actually think that real estate, regardless of the president right now, looks pretty strong in California. We've got a very healthy appreciation rate. It is down from a high of 20% just a year ago to year over year, that is, down to at the latest report, 5.5%. Again, this is California, not the country. And that's just a very sustainable growth rate and appreciation rate. And I'm very bullish on that. Jobs in California remain strong, unemployment extremely low, and the supply of housing is low. It needs to be higher, and we're not building fast enough. So I believe real estate investing, and this would include investment in multifamily, it would include investment in homes that you might be buying to remodel and flip. I don't see prices going down, and I don't see them going down as a result of anything that Trump is proposing.
Except there's one thing, they just put it out today,
What's that?
eliminating the mortgage deduction.
Yeah, that's been
well,
going around for a year.
Yeah. But I mean,
So that's
I'm just
resurfaced again. I
I'm just
didn't
saying
see
they're
that.
floating it.
Wow,
I'm just saying they're
wow,
floating
okay.
it. Yeah, just today. I just saw it today.
Interesting.
So
So
yeah, of course they've floated it before, right? Nothing's happened.
and
but
that
I'm just
would
saying.
right. So then all of the real estate lobbies will be certainly coming out of the closet for that one.
Yeah.
But in any event, I would appreciate seeing a rollback on some of the more onerous regulations that were put in place under Dodd-Frank. But I actually don't know that a quote-unquote rollback of Dodd-Frank is going to result in eliminating a lot of those regulations designed to make sure that when a bank makes a loan, that the borrower that they've determined through investigation and paperwork and proof that that borrower has the ability to afford those monthly payments. That's not necessarily a bad thing. It's just, how onerous are those regulations, and does it have a unintended consequence of trapping people from being able to borrow against the equity in their home? And as we've found out and talked about on the show many times, today it does have that unintended consequence. It's almost criminalized the ability for people to borrow against the equity in their home, especially if they're on a fixed income. And that's really, I don't think, was the intentions of those that drew up those anti-predatory lending practices under the Dodd-Frank financial reform. So we'll see. It'll be very interesting in 2017 to see how this all unfolds.
And do you have a deal of the week for us?
I do. And so for Deal of the Week, for the listening audience, my name is Mark Hanf. I'm president and broker for Pacific Private Money. We are an alternative lending source for real estate transactions. Some refer to us as hard money lenders, or I prefer private money lender. But we really exist to save transactions where conventional financing, which is always a plan A, fell through. And of course, we still make loans to fix and flippers, and we still make construction loans and loans like that. But a growing percentage of our loans are to help people acquire a home. And many times this is a home that they intend to live in, which is known as a consumer loan. And we're one of the few companies in California that will actually fund consumer loans. Many private and hard money lenders are not licensed for that activity, and they stay away from that. And they will tell you no when you call them for help on a transaction that's in trouble. So we exist to help transactions that need to close by next Friday, or you're going to lose your deposit that you have on a home after you just found out your bank can't close in time, or if your equity is locked up in homes that you own, a home or homes you own today, but you still want to buy property. And so this particular transaction is two gentlemen who, one lives in Southern California, the other lives in San Francisco, and they want to buy a home together and move in Southern California. And they both put their homes on the market respectively, because they were going to take the profits from that and buy this home in Orange, where they're now in contract, and they can't sell either of their homes right now, which is kind of interesting. I don't know, we haven't drilled down on the details. Usually it's because they've overpriced it, or but the market also is softening in many neighborhoods. So they've come to us to help them with a quick closing, because they're running out of time on this contract, a quick closing bridge loan that was basically going to be 100% financing for them to acquire this property, but it's going to be collateralized by not only the target property that we're going to help them buy, but by their other two homes, the condo in San Francisco and the other home in Anaheim. So we're pretty excited about that loan. It's about a $1.2 million loan. We quoted them a 9.9% interest rate and 2 points with no prepayment penalty, meaning they can pay us back as soon as they're able to sell those homes. They can pay it down partially with each sale, and then whatever's left, they can take a conventional mortgage out and take care of it. So for more information, check out our brand new website. We just launched it last week at pacificprivatemoney.com. We're really excited about it. That's pacificprivatemoney.com for information about our bridge loan products, or for information about how you could earn between 7.5% and 8.5%, which is about the range we've been paying out on a monthly basis, annualized, that is.
Yeah.
I was going to say, better clarify that.
It's not paying 80%.
The Pacific Private Money Fund has been paying out anywhere from 7.5% to 8.5% on an annualized basis. We make monthly distributions, and that is the money that we use to make our loans. It's from our very happy investors who are able to park a little bit of their certain portion of their savings and retirement portfolios into a fund that produces cash distributions and a growth option too. So again, for more information, check us out, pacificprivatemoney.com.
Very good. All right, perfect timing, because we got to go to another break. And when we come back, we have an email for Alexandra that we'd like her to answer. All right? Stay with us. We're going to come back. We're going to have just a quick 5-minute segment, and then we'll be gone. Don't touch that dial. The Best of Investing. I'll be right back. All right. Perfect. Okay. One of the things Keith had mentioned is, do we have anything that's a call to action? You know,
Oh.
I mean, call now and you get an extra 1 point off your
right,
fees. I mean,
right.
it's like
Well,
exactly
you know, run that by Nam if you didn't already,
he,
or if
he,
you
he was
he
on the
part-
phone.
Okay,
he was on
so
the phone, yeah.
so call to action. I mean, that's not something. I mean, part of the thing with the trivia contest is designed to keep people make people help stick around and.
Right.
That's a call to action, but you know.
Well, yeah, I mean, our call to action is that we do an initial consultation for no charge.
Yeah.
But I mean, a call to action like
Like
do something
today.
next. Yeah,
Right,
exactly. Yeah.
Like a spur of the moment.
Because the thing is,
offer.
I mean, I don't know any financial advisors who don't offer,
Right.
a free,
Right.
yes, well, look over your life insurance and look over your plan and all that kind of stuff. So, but again, what are you gonna do? So,
Right.
We could charge you half.
We'll give you a stick of bubble gum. if
Yeah,
you
yeah.
like,
So it's like you're not sure what,
Well, I think that some people. Well, I shouldn't say some people. I know me that. I hear those, no obligation, free consultation. But if I go in and sit with you and talk with you for a while, I'm gonna feel like I'm a heel if I'm not obligating myself to do something with you. And I don't know. I know not everyone feels that way. Other people are just fine just to go in and take as many free consultations
That's right.
with as many
Get
attorneys and
yep.
Sure.
bankers and
Yep.
lawyers and whomever. But I just wonder if I'm how alone I am, or if I'm, the majority or the minority of people who are listening going, oh yeah, they all say that, but then they get their claws in you. And
Right. Right.
Well, I think a lot of people do feel that, but if there was something specific of, like if we're, giving away really good prizes or something, well,
Yeah.
but that's a trivia contest versus,
Yeah.
like someone should call you now. But here would be an example is we've got this loan and we have to close it next week.
And we
And
need
we
money
need
right now.
$10,000, such
Right.
and such, and you're going to earn this. But the first
You're right.
person
I should be bringing a cheat sheet of things to remember to say on a regular basis like that.
Something like
that's
that,
probably
yeah.
a good idea.
And then, sure.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
have
I
to
don't
think
know.
about
I'll
that.
have to think about that. Yeah, I'll have to think about that.
Okay, here we go. Well, welcome back to the Best of Investing. Edward Brown here, last time for today, because we're going to be doing a short segment. Mark Hahn and Alexandra Cock. So Alexandra, a question for you comes in. It says, I was just looking at your website. What sets you apart from other investment advisors who say they concentrate working with women? Because you kind of mentioned that you concentrate on that too.
I do. It's one of the reasons that I got into financial advising in the first place was because I saw a need for women to be able to get sound advice regarding their finances.
Okay.
And women are in a special category when it comes to their finances, primarily because we still only earn 77 cents on the dollar of what men make.
Okay.
And so as a result, over our lifetimes, we don't make as much money as men generally. We also have lower Social Security benefits because we haven't made as much money
Yeah,
over
it's
our
all kind of
lifetime.
feeding
So
in.
right, so
But
there are
do
a
you
lot
find
of
them
effects.
do you find them being better investors though?
In general, I would say they're better savers.
Better savers?
Yep.
Okay, well that makes up for the
Yeah.
22% difference. So,
well,
so we're
and-
even now. No,
well,
I'm just kidding.
Right, but they have to be, and that's part of my job is to show them, why they have to be better savers is because they are, in a lesser position. So, and so I think it's having specialized knowledge when it comes to women's finances, which I do since I've been doing this for 21 years.
Well, plus here's the other thing is that, and again, this is total generalization, but women live longer than men.
Yes,
So they're going to
they've
need
got
more
that.
money.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. And also, I think in our society in general, still, women tend to rely on men when it comes to the finances, and so one of my responsibilities is to help educate them so that they understand the family finances, and to make sure that their interests are taken into consideration.
One of the things that my wife and I did some years back was, my wife wanted to learn a little bit more, and I had no problem. There's no secrets here. But for her to get more involved, we actually figured out with somebody that it would be best for her to actually write the checks for a lot of the bills because at the time she was a stay-at-home mom with kids, and by choice, and so because she didn't write the checks, it didn't quite get put together. But once she started writing the checks, it was a little easier for her to see.
Yeah. Well, and that's one of the benefits that I have in terms of using the model that we do, because it allows people to see all of their finances all on one page. So it helps it's logical, and it helps for people because then they can see how different financial tools relate to one another and what their significance is.
Tell all the women to go into sales, then they can make any amount that they want.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
It's all based on what you do.
So you give a free consultation to prospective clients, Alexandra, like many of our guests here on Best Investing do?
Yes, we do. And we talk about, we find out what their concerns are so that we can talk about those, as well as showing them the very sophisticated software that we use, and we talk about our fees and how we charge. And it's no obligation. It's an opportunity for us to get to know each other and to see whether we could work well together.
So, a lot of professionals like yourself will make that offer, and I know that there are people out in the audience there who still would hesitate to do that for fear that they might get sold something. I mean, about on average, how many people do you think you end up speaking to, who may not necessarily feel that it's a good fit with you to work together? I mean, would you say? So you probably give out these consultations on a fairly regular basis.
We definitely do, although when they first contact us, they may be talking to our relationship manager, and so some of the time I may not even meet with them because we have screening. So she screens them, and if it's just not a fit at all, right? If it's just not a fit at all, then we don't waste anybody's time then talking about it.
So the point being, the phone call's free, the consultation's free. Take advantage of this. You are very unique in the marketplace in that you don't just focus on selling people stocks and bonds and other traditional assets. You work on a holistic, overall approach to person's finances, and you're definitely worth visiting with.
Yeah.
Yes, definitely.
Give out your information one more time, then we got to say goodbye.
Okay. You can call us at 415-457-8936 or find us on the internet, wealthplusinc.com.
Very good. Okay, here's our thoughts for the day. Henny Youngman said, I've got all the money I'll ever need if I die before 4 o'clock today. And Zig Ziglar said, people often say that motivation doesn't last. Well, neither does bathing. That's why we recommend it daily. Tune in next week to The Best of Investing. We're going to be giving away more free prizes for answering trivia questions. Thanks for listening. On behalf of our team, I'm Edward Brown, wishing you the best of investing. So long. Yeah, a little bit. No problem. No problem.
What do they do if you go over?
Snip a little here and a little there.